Hi guys, today we're going to talk about what we're afraid of. So I just came across this old book that I really fell in love with a few years ago by Elle Luna, who is based in San Francisco, and she is a designer and author, and she wrote this book called The Crossroads of Should and Must: Find and Follow Your Passion. And I was going through it, I reread it, and it's such a beautiful book. Let me just show you. It's such a beautiful book. Let me show you a peek inside. It's illustrated with watercolors, and I just love it. It's just kind of my style, and it's sort of like a brainstorming book that helps you think about things. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because she created this, which is all about what are you so afraid of, right? Pretty important stuff. So she said, write a list of your top 10 fears. I think it said time yourself, do it in 10 minutes. So here's the list that I wrote. And I did this, what is today? Today's the 7th. So I wrote this list about 9 days ago. I was getting ready to actually put my book for sale, which was really scary. Because I don't know, let's just get into this, okay? And then I think that'll make sense in a minute. So if you have this book, I'm looking at page 118 just for a reference. Anyway, top 10 fears. Here's my list. Okay, so I'm just gonna read them to you. Number 1, biggest fear: the book won't be good enough, or people will feel like it wasn't worth the price. I charged $31. Lulu charges shipping. So I tried to keep the price under $35. Number 2, I'll never find my partner and or have the kids and family that I really, really, truly, deeply want. Number 3, school will try to reopen. In other words, the virus. I'm terrified of getting the virus. Number 4, letting go of my last relationship and believing that there's another plan waiting for me that does not include him. Number 5, success on a large scale. Number 6, being 100% self-employed and having to deal with the taxes and health insurance involved in that. Number 7, my parents getting a divorce. Number 8, that Katie needs surgery. Number 9, that I wasted a lot of my prime years in my last relationship, and that when I meet the person that I want to have kids with, that my body won't work anymore. Number 10, commitment and having a family of my own, and I crossed it out. So number 10 again, or the new number 10, is falling in love again. So what Elle recommended is to kind of go through your list and kind of look at each fear, because you had to just write these like off the top of your head. So figuring out like how those fears work. Let me take a look at what she actually says. So I'll read it to you. So it says, now let's get realistic about those fears, because often fears in our mind can be like sap, sticky and very difficult to remove. But fears on paper are tangible, visible, cross-outable, which I did before I even realized that she said that. Line by line, walk yourself through each of your fears, examine them, bring them into the light. Is this a fear? Is this fear a realistic one? Is it worth designing your life around? Is it more of an emotional fear? Is it something to be mindful about as you move forward? Have a conversation with yourself about each one. So I'm gonna have a conversation with you about each one, and I will try to kind of keep it brief because Lord knows I go on tangents. So fear number one was that the book wouldn't be good enough. It's good enough. It is, and I know it, and I'm proud of it, and I'm really excited because I've already sold 33 copies, so let's move on. Number 2, I'll never find my partner / have the kids and family that I so deeply want. I'm gonna say that that's an emotional fear just because I grew up, you know, with a single parent, and my mom eventually got remarried, but for most of my childhood until I was about 15, I didn't really know what it was like to have, you know, the standard family. And I'm not saying that I need the standard family. I think my perspective on that has shifted a lot. I do want kids, so I think even before wanting to be married, that is what I want now. And I think it's tangible. I think I just have to like open myself up to that. So let's keep going. Number 3, schools will try to reopen or try to open with the virus going on. I am very grateful and relieved that my school district has announced that we are going virtually this semester, at least for the first part of the year. I know it's the right decision. It's nearly impossible if you look at the logistics of organizing a school with the pandemic going on to keep the community safe with a school open. So I'm grateful for that because I can work from home. And in terms of being afraid of the virus, I get to control how I act in the world. I get to put my mask on when I go outside. I get to choose when I go outside. I get to choose when I interact with people. You won't find me at large parties or events, that's for sure. Number 4, I was afraid that letting go of my I've been afraid of letting go of my last relationship, I think, for a long time. And I think that the reason I'm afraid of it is just because I don't trust that there's a bigger and better, more beautiful life out there for me. And you know, I think this is another emotional thing, and it's just, I just have to kind of take a leap, and it's okay to be afraid to do that, and it's okay to still love people, and I'm really working on having faith in the fact that the universe is going to bring me exactly what I need when I need it and when I'm ready for it. Number 5, having success on a large scale. I guess what I would say about that one is just that the aspects of running your own business and doing things like writing this cookbook and putting this out into the world is a lot of work for one person, and it's very challenging to keep up, particularly around staying inspired. I find that I go through phases, and you know, much like with painting, I go through periods where I don't paint, but I often paint when I'm trying to work through something. So I think that's just something that I'm just gonna take note of. Number 6 is related, but being self-employed 100% and having to deal with the health insurance and taxes, which are health insurance is incredibly expensive if you work for yourself. But I think the other thing that I would say to this is that there's something to being a teacher that fuels me in my personal projects. I get a lot out of my interactions with my kids and my classes, and I don't think I would want to give that up entirely. If I could figure out how to incorporate that into a business, I think I would feel much less afraid of jumping into a business on my own in the first place. So we can kind of put that one to rest. Number 7, my parents getting a divorce. That's a really selfish thing. And it's a weird fear because I'm 35 and you would think that that wouldn't matter, but it does, because our families are so important to us, and any time that your family has a major shift, that's going to be hard to go through. And you know, it's one of those things that's up to them. It's 100% their choice, and I really genuinely, if that's what they want, I support it, and I will love both of them through it. It's not gonna be a make or break, but it is challenging to navigate, and I think that's kind of where the fear comes from for me, is just figuring out, you know, how to see everybody and how to check in on everybody and how to connect when there's a lot that's not being said. So I'm just trying to be patient with myself and understand that even though I feel like it shouldn't affect me, it does, and that's okay too. Now, number 8, Katie needs to have surgery. That is a huge fear of mine right now, and what I will say is that I'm trying to be very proactive about that fear. I have been doing a lot of research and learning a lot about how I can help her as she's dealing with luxating patellas, and possibly it's I'm thinking that she tore her ACL or hurt her ACL too, but that's not 100%. So, but I'm taking a proactive approach. You know, I got her supplements, glucosamine, and a bunch of other stuff, which I don't know the names of because I'm still learning, and I'm trying water therapy, as you'll see or have already seen in the last video. And I've been giving her massages at night. So I feel like with that fear, although I'm really afraid of it, I know that we're gonna be fine. If we have to do that, we have to do that. It's not a fear that's related to the money, even though it is a significant amount of money that even just supplements and things like that are costing right now. But she's worth it, and she's just the best. She's like my own kid, you know? So I guess there's no point in freaking out about it till we get to that place, is the point. We're doing 2 more weeks of medication the doctor suggested, and then we're gonna go from there. The next step would be an x-ray, okay? So it's not like she's getting surgery tomorrow, so relax, self, relax. Now, number 9, another fear, which is interesting because I feel like I've repeated this several times, but I worry that I wasted a lot of time in my last relationship, and that time would have been better spent finding a partner who wanted to have kids and wanted to have a family with me. And what I would say about this one, because the last line of it says that when I do find a partner, which I believe I will, but when I do find a partner that I want to have a baby with, I'm just afraid that my body won't work. So there's a lot of things that can be said and done about that, but you know, I've been talking about this fear to a lot of my girlfriends, and you know, one of the most beautiful things about talking to people about stuff is that sometimes they give you the hope you need, right? So I was talking to my friend Catherine last night, and she was telling me that her friend had a baby at 40 and she's 44 and trying to have another one. So it's possible. And there's also things like freezing your eggs, which is not really a route that I want to go down, partly financially, but partly also just because of what the research shows on the statistics of that, and in a really big way just because I really want the experience of having a baby grow inside of my body and see how, you know, all of your unique characteristics end up showing up in that kid in one way or the other, whether they're polar opposites or what have you. But that is just an experience that I think will be really important, a huge important journey of my life. I've had a lot of issues that I've talked about with body image and things like that, so I know that that whole experience is just going to be a really powerful shift in the way that I see and view the world. So yeah, so I guess with that one, with number 9, I'm just gonna try to like keep positives, have positive vibes about it, and just trust that the universe, again, like has a plan for me and has my best interests in mind, and just take it day by day. Be open. I'm gonna repeat the one that I crossed out, which was the first number 10, and for most of my life, I've been very afraid of commitment. I have chosen partners who did not commit to me fully in one way or another. You know, whether it was cheating on me or whether it was literally refusing to have a committed relationship and spending years together. That has happened to me twice, and the cheating part has happened to me twice also. I think I would say that I've had 4 major relationships in my life, and all of them had that theme. So I had to kind of turn that one around on myself and say, what is the common denominator? And it's you. So I've done a lot of soul searching on that, and I think I have finally come to a place where I'm no longer afraid of commitment. I have made the choice to start making commitments, and I finally feel ready to do that. And why it took me until I was 35 years old to get to that place, I'm not sure. Perhaps it's all the things I've been through. You could watch my Draw My Life video. I'm sure that can illustrate my fear of commitment. And I was also really afraid of having a family because I was just afraid that I would fuck it up, you know? That was truly my greatest fear for a really long time, and I think that's why I put things off and postponed things so long, because I was doing work on myself. I was trying to figure out how to right the things that were wrong in my life. I was trying to work through my baggage so that I can bring as little of that as possible into the life of my future family. I want to come from a place of strength, not a place that felt broken. So, you know, as a kid I started reading Chicken Soup for the Soul, and I've never stopped reading books like that. I just love it. That's how I found this book too. So everything happens for a reason, and I'm not afraid anymore. And I knew that after I wrote it down on this paper. That's why I immediately crossed it out and wrote a new number 10. So the new number 10 is I'm afraid of falling in love again. And I don't know why. I don't even know why I'm afraid of that. I think perhaps, like I was saying, I just haven't been through a really positive ending in a relationship, and I haven't grown up with a family that's, you know, stayed married. There are certainly people in my life who have parents that are married, so I did grow up seeing a bit of that, but in my home as a kid, the things that I saw were not the things that I dream of having. So yeah, but I think I'm going off on the wrong tangent. I think I'm afraid I'm just always afraid that I'm going to lose somebody, because I lost my dad so young, and because I lost my aunt who really stepped in and replaced my dad. So those kinds of losses are pretty deeply ingrained, and I think I'm also just a little bit traumatized from my last relationship. I really loved him, and I really wanted to have a life and a family with him, and that was the first time I had ever experienced that with another person. So I think there's like a small part of me that is just like, I don't know if I'll ever find that again. Like, I don't know if I'll ever feel that way again. I had never felt that way before with anybody that I've dated except for him. So that was something that surprised me with him when it came up too, when I wanted, like, I had the urge, like, I want to have kids with this guy, I want to marry him. You know, those thoughts were things that I had never thought before. So I think it's natural when something like that doesn't work out to be a little afraid of trying again. But persistence, drive. When you fall down, get the fuck up and keep going. But be kind to yourself and be sweet to yourself. And you should probably stop using the F word in your videos. Okay, so that completes my top 10 fears. And I guess in response to this, what I would ask you is, what are you afraid of? Like, what's one of your biggest fears? Will you comment below so that I don't feel so alone in sharing all my fears? I feel like I'm naked. So yeah, comment below, what is your biggest fear, or what are some of your fears? And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you to all 47 of you who are subscribed. Thank you to those of you leaving comments and starting comment wars. I love it. And please go ahead and like this video, because it's not easy to be vulnerable. I will see you guys next week. I post videos every week, so I'll see you back here. Adios. Ciao. Have a beautiful day. If you're my kids and you're watching, I'll see you virtually in about a month. Okay, bye.